Well, so now we get the 4th of July blowout, and that is Terminator 2: Judgment Day, which was, I know everyone was waiting for that movie. I went to the midnight showing on opening day. Sold out, midnight showing. I remember the Guns N' Roses song video had been out for about a month, maybe even more. It was just an amazing marketing campaign.
My God, I forgot about the Guns N' Roses song in it. What was the Guns N' Roses song in it?
You could be mine.
Yeah, I mean.
Whoa.
No. Aaron, was it the midnight show the day before? Was it the day before it was released that you went? Remember, there was this was the earliest I can remember when they had the night before the day it came out. Because I remember I was able to get tickets for it and dragged 2 friends to see it who were unenthusiastic, to say the least.
Yeah.
I saw it midnight too. I was in Chicago with my girlfriend. She was doing some kind of dance. She was a dancer, so she had some kind of conservatory she was doing that summer. And I went up to visit her, and I said, "Hey, let's go see Terminator 2 at midnight." And we went, and it was stunning. I mean, I thought it was really good storytelling. And to a large extent, I wish we still had that James Cameron, but I don't think we do.
No, I don't think we do. The movie.
Now that he's
good.
devoting the rest of his natural life to Avatar, you know.
Yeah,
I mean,
so let's talk about that for a second. So he's going to do Avatar.
Do we have to?
No. But Peter Jackson's going to be forever associated with like Tolkien. Lucas is forever going to be associated with his naval, and you know it's very interesting because Cameron had so much that he could have given us. And for some reason, he thought that when we left Avatar, we were really concerned that, hey, what are they going to do in the next? What's next for these characters? Not realizing.
I think it's just a massive delusion on his part.
Well, yeah, it's not so much delusion. I mean, the fact that the movie made so many billions. I mean, that's not a delusion. That's a fact. So whether we like it or not, that's irrelevant. The fact is,
the numbers are there. The numbers are there. Okay, yes, but is the discussion there? Is there really a discussion amongst in the culture? You know, that's. I mean, was that movie just? Was it only a hit because it was the 3D movie? Or is it something? Was it really a love of that world? I don't think there's a love for that world.
No, I don't think that. Really
people. I think that's where the delusion comes in.
Let me just say something though. He knew at the end of Terminator 2 that was it. That was, as far as he was concerned. That's
all he wanted to do with it.
That's all he wanted to do. And you know, I will say, you know, as much as I like Salvation, I would be willing to say I wish that they never made Rise of the Machines. And
they should have stopped there.
Yeah.
But they
why
can't because it's
that with
money.
Avatar? You know, why can't James Cameron in '91 see the same Cameron and say, hey, you know what, I made Avatar, I did it, I proved that I could do this.
Why does he have to do 4 of them?
Why can't he go do the Crowded Room?
Yes.
That he wanted to do originally.
It's his money, and he likes those stories. I get maybe the second one will be better. I don't begrudge them that no more than I begrudge them doing another Jurassic World, even though I thought the first Jurassic World was terrible. But you know, Jurassic World made $500 million, so you'd be a fool.
No, I see what you're saying, Aaron, and. You know, it's just that these are such the spectacle. I understand the spectacle, but beneath the spectacle, there's nothing there. I mean,
and there's always this. If you underestimate James Cameron, more than likely you will lose that bet.
Yeah,
because he comes through pretty much every time. Even if you don't like Avatar. It still was the biggest movie of all time. For whatever reason, he has that sense for what the masses want to see. So we'll see. I mean, 4 more Avatar movies are a huge gamble because the second Avatar could come out and not do well, and then you're still stuck with 3 more.
Well, maybe he won't make the other 3.
They're making them simultaneously, so I'm not going to count out. Yeah, I'm not counting him out though. That would be a mistake.
I would never count him out.
I'm not going to count him out either, but I don't know. He I don't know. He's got to be really in love with these characters for some reason. He must see something that we don't.
I want to talk about monsters. Let's stay in 91, okay? Let's not go to 2000.
But Terminator. Let's just talk about Terminator 2 for a second.
Yeah.
It was more than The Abyss. Even it was a landmark in visual effects, and it gave us Robert Patrick. It was a great villain.
Yeah, it was a good villain.
Good villain, and
unfortunately, it also gave us Edward Furlong, who I think is the worst thing in the movie, and unfortunately, he carries the movie. I'm not a huge fan of Terminator 2. I like the first Terminator. I like the special effects. They're cool. I do like Robert Patrick in it, but it's that kid that I can't stand. I can't even stand the sound of his voice.
Isn't he a has-been now? Isn't he like on Hollywood Squares or whatever? Or Hollywood
deservedly so.
Well,
the
following Terminator 2, this is, and talk about a harbinger of things to come. We get on July 10th, we get Regarding Henry.
Oh, you're skipping right over Problem Child 2.
Yes, Problem Child.
Wait. How can you skip Problem Child 2?
Well, because it just wasn't as good as Problem Child 1.
That's right. You're absolutely right. But isn't John Ritter in Problem Child 2? Shouldn't we talk about John? I mean, isn't that like not? He was a good guy. I mean, I don't want to knock his head, but I mean, he was a good guy. I mean,
it was a rush. I mean, it was a rush sequel. I mean, it was.
Oh God, yeah. I mean,
literally a year later.
Hey, here's a trivia question. Here's a trivia question I always like to ask people. What Scorsese movie featured Problem Child?
Cape Fear.
Right. Okay. There you go.
Move on. Secretly, I think Scorsese is a fan.
Probably.
That's funny to think of that.
But regarding Henry, I said it's a harbinger of things to come because screenplayed by J.J. Abrams.
God, I'd forgotten about that.
No. This is Dean. This is what we were talking about because the whole relationship between him and Harrison Ford, and yeah, that's how you treat your friends. Kill them off. I hate that Adam Driver, son of a bitch. But it is a harbinger. I did enjoy the movie. I didn't see it in the theater. I saw it on videotape, and I remember enjoying it. I didn't think it was a great movie or anything, but it was a fun movie, if that makes sense.
Yes. When you think of rehab from brain injuries, you think fun. I mean,
well,
I remember just being totally underwhelmed by it, even though it's Mike Nichols, right? I mean, it's
Mike Nichols, yeah. Harrison Ford, Annette Bening. The best performance is actually by the two best performances are by the girl who plays the daughter. I forget her name, sadly, and Bill Nunn.
I thought the dog was really good in the movie too, but that's cool.
By the way, isn't John Leguizamo in this one too? Isn't he the one that shoots Harrison Ford in the head? Yeah.
Yes, John Leguizamo's the one.
There's a restrained performance.
And he actually talks about the making of the film in his autobiography. Said Mike Nichols was not the most pleasant guy to work with on set. Then the following week, July 12th, that's Friday, we get, I feel, are the highlights of the summer, for me anyways, Boys in the Hood and Point Break.
That's a pretty good double bill there.
I have to agree. I mean, in the films that we still talk about today, if I can just give I work with someone who quotes from Boys in the Hood to this day. He quotes from that movie, and it is a great movie. There's no way you can say that movie holds up very well. But I work with a guy who loves that movie so much. He's much younger than we are. He's 32, and he quotes from that movie.
Well, Boys in the Hood, after Terminator 2, Boys in the Hood probably was the most anticipated film that summer.
Mm-hmm.
Coming out of the Cannes Film Festival and the whole mythology that was starting to build around Singleton.
Right.
And it was an amazing film. I remember my family. We were actually going to go to Point Break, and we decided to go to Boys in the Hood, and actually it's wound up being my movie of the year that year. It's just an amazing piece of filmmaking. The great showcase for Larry Fishburne, and where we first saw Cuba Gooding Jr.
Ice Cube is to me the best person in it.
Ice Cube as an actor.
Ice Cube is one of his two great performances. That and Three Kings, obviously, but he is so good in that movie, and he has so many great moments. I mean, look, let's be very honest. This is a movie like I do think Singleton made some good movies after this, and I know that's another show. But this is just it's just such a great coming of age movie. We don't see the great ones that stick around like this in the mind, but this movie came along at the right time. It hit all the right notes, and it rules. It's just superb.
It does, and I hold it up. I had problems with both recent films, Selma and Straight Outta Compton, with its portrayal of its kind of rote races, and particularly Straight Outta Compton, its portrayal of racist cops, I thought were kind of cartoonish. And Boys in the Hood probably still has one of the all-time best portrayals of racist officers in movie history. And
I'll give you that. I would definitely give you that.
And so it's just wonderful. And as for Point Break, I get a lot of eyebrows raised when I say, and I love Zero Dark 30 and The Hurt Locker, top 10 films on those years, but I still say Point Break is Catherine Bigelow's masterpiece.
Thank you.
Wow.
I agree with you.
Them strong words.
There. But I agree, because that's the first movie that she does where, how shall we say it? I've never seen the remake. I have no desire to see the remake. I think it's an insult, but
this one still stands, and what I love about it is really it's a meditation. Use that word. It's kind of used maybe a little too much in critical circles, but on kind of male friendship and male romance, and even a little bit of satire on male bonding.
Right.
And I just think it works on so many, on satirical levels, on poignant levels, on action levels. I love little throwaway moments like the way Keanu Reeves goads Gary Busey into telling him his theory. And he tells him, "Why don't you get a job working security? Tell Nam stories." I just think it's a great line reading.
Right.
And
right.
this is 3 years before Speed, and Keanu Reeves really shows he was a very every guy, every man type of action hero. I think it's
well, let me say one thing before we leave this week. I want to say one thing about Boys in the Hood. An undeniably powerful movie that it's one of those cases, though, where some of the audience, at least, did not get it. They did not get the message of the movie. The same thing that the movie was preaching against, some members of the audience, when I was watching the movie with an audience, there were a lot of people that cheered when he sought vengeance at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. The movie clearly wants to say it's an endless cycle of violence that has to stop.
Right.
You say it was a greatly anticipated movie. It was by movie fans because this was the arrival of a potentially major new voice with John Singleton. But in theater circles, because I was a theater manager at that time, it was dreaded. 20 minutes away from my house in a theater, somebody got shot in the head. Opening weekend of Boys in the Hood.
Mm-hmm.
I had a riot in my theater for another John Singleton movie that was completely anti-violence, but some members of the audience just were not receptive to that message.
Well, and also,
I
remember,
understand
New Jack City had come out like 3 months earlier, so the media was all over this film, basically anticipating and predicting bad behavior.
And that's not fair for the content of the film itself, because it's such a wonderful movie with such a great message.
Right.
But so it's not a reflection on the content of the movie. There's just a lot of morons out there that misread it. But a filmmaker can't be responsible for how you misread something.
That happened 2 years later with Menace to Society, and it also happened with Higher Learning.
It happened a few years earlier with Taxi Driver.
And The Warriors.
And Warriors and Colors and I was in a theater on Saving Private Ryan opening week, and I was stunned when people cheered at the end when Upham kills the German guy.
Right.
I was like, oh, this is the wrong audience.
Is that over? By the way, I haven't heard of a movie in recent time that puts out the siren warnings for the theatrical release. There's going to be riots in the theater. I haven't heard that in quite some time. Is that?
No, I haven't heard that at all recently.
No,
but you also had it with Last Temptation of Christ. I mean, it isn't just like inner city violence movies. I mean, it's all kinds of things that challenge.
Passion of the Christ. There was worry about that. Huge worry.
Passion was probably the last film where you had like tension in the theater. And that's probably the last one. Who knows? Maybe we'll have tension. I'm predicting shootouts at the remake of Blair Witch. That's for a totally different reason.
Hey, don't laugh when
It'll be people shooting themselves. It won't really
Blair
be a
Witch
shootout.
Came out around here. There was I think a AMC City place. They were just so angry because it wasn't a traditional horror film. They tried to bum rush the ticket booth to get their money back because it wasn't a traditional horror movie. There were stories like that came out because they were so pissed off.
Well, the following week, on the 19th of July, we get Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey and Dutch. Now, by default, Bill and Ted is the better film.
What about the next
week? By default, Bill and Ted...
Let's talk about... What was the other movie that came out?
Dutch.
Oh, my God. This is a bad week. But Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey was so bad. It was so hard to watch on videotape.
I stand up for Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey because it works on two levels. One, it works on its own sophomoric dumb level, which is how most people just kind of took it. And there is a level of sophistication going on underneath. I mean, William Sadler as Death.
He's the MVP of the movie. I mean, like he's
if
the
there is
reason
one,
to
I
watch
mean, if there is an MVP, I mean,
well, but in a way, it's actually better than the original because he's in it. He's hilarious as Death or.
yes. No. I thought you said
the Grim Reaper.
Does there need to be a third one?
No.
Well, no,
but there doesn't need to be any
sequel. There didn't need to be a second one.
Dean. Thank you.
There didn't need to be a second one, but they made one that was surprisingly good. I don't think there'll ever be a third one.
No.
I know they always claim, it's just a matter of us getting together and working it out, but
no, they won't.
Well, I think they're
come
trying to get through. What's Alex Winter doing? I mean, is he like what do you see like?
He's doing documentaries now. So.
No, he's a filmmaker. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Freaks. I thought Freaks was very good, but
well, no, I mean he's doing documentaries.
He's doing great documentaries. Downloaded is one of the most important.
Downloaded. Yeah. But he also did Fever. Didn't he do a movie called Fever a couple of years, like a decade ago? That was not bad. Also, I mean.
So do we have anything to say about Dutch Oven?
Dutch Oven.
This is Ed O'Neill, right?
Well, this was the summer where basically the two stars from Married with Children got their movie breaks, Christine Applegate and Ed O'Neill. Dutch is one of those movies that I watch on when it comes on cable because there's nothing else on. That doesn't mean I like it one way or the other. It's just kind of one of those movies you just kind of have on background as background noise.
To me, there's nothing. I know I'm probably going to be in the minority here, but there's nothing worse to me than Married with Children. I just think, the only thing worse to me is like Family Guy. So I'm not into that realm
now
of.
You tell me I got you every box set of both shows for Christmas. I'm not. Tell me I already pre-ordered it last month for you.
I'm not into that realm of insult comedy. It's not my deal.
Well, here's the trivia for you.
You mean you don't think Seth MacFarlane is a genius?
You know which actor considers Married with Children his favorite show?
Harvey Keitel.
Nick Nolte.
Tell me. Nick Nolte. Oh man.
Why doesn't? You know what? That honestly, I can see that. I can see that.
He probably wanted to play the neighbor.
Well,
he's probably he aspires to be Ted Bundy or whatever the guy is. I don't know what his character's name is.
Al Bundy.
Ted Bundy.
Better than Noah.
Well, on Wednesday, July 24th, in limited release, it would go wide towards the end of the month. We have what I assume is Jamie's favorite film of the summer, and it is a great film, The Doctor.
What I love to do is contrast this to Regarding Henry.
Yes,
and
please.
You could tell the pitfalls of Regarding Henry by examining the strengths of The Doctor. The Doctor is very kind of subtly told. It has nice shadings to it, because William Hurt has a lot of nice shadings to him. I mean, he doesn't spell his performances out to you. You have to look at his expressions. You have to examine what he's doing as an actor, and it's always interesting and surprising and unique. Regarding Henry is a 17-year-old writing a screenplay. It's what I would expect from J.J. Abrams writing that screenplay. The Doctor is
He's doing that right now as a 17-year-old, though. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, but the Doctor is essentially the same story, but it's told in a very adult, subtle, observational way. I love the Doctor, and I loved Randa Haynes. She was a great filmmaker who happened to be a woman, and I wish that she was still making movies today, because I really enjoyed her voice, and she had a great relationship with William Hurt. I was talking to my mother earlier today about The Doctor, and I said, that's my favorite movie from this summer. And she said, that's such an odd movie. And I said, it's not odd. It's probably the most mainstream, conventional movie that William Hurt's ever done. But she just sees William Hurt and thinks that he's odd.
Followed by Altered States.
I remember seeing it and thinking I was a little underwhelmed by it. I just felt it was kind of a sleepy TV movie. Which
I don't agree with.
She came from TV movies, so I mean that's.
All those.
I have a different take on the movie, just because I didn't see it when it came out in theaters. Because it was actually many years later that I watched this movie. I think it's actually I'm more in Jamie's camp. I think it's a good movie. But my dad was a doctor, and he would not go see this movie. He was not. He was. I just don't. I think at the time it was like a couple of years before the St. Elsewhere was on, and I love St. Elsewhere, but he hated St. Elsewhere. I mean, he hated it with a passion. But I don't think he liked watching his profession portrayed on screen. Is how I look at it now. At 45 years old, I can see that. But I actually thought that movie and a movie that came out years later, Critical Care, were probably the two best movies I've seen about doctors in recent memory.
Not Vital Signs?
No, not Vital Signs. But if you want me to, I'll go back and watch that, Aaron, for homework.
No, but the humanity of the Doctor is what gets me. I mean, just the little moments where you could see him start to change from the very impersonal, money-hungry guy who's an expert in his field and nobody questions him, to a guy with a conscience. And that can be told in a very obvious, heavy-footed way.
Like regarding
Henry. Yeah, but it's not told that way in The Doctor.
Would you say J.J. Abrams has never really understood the word subtle or multi-layered?
No, I don't denigrate J.J. Abrams. I think J.J. Abrams is a terrific storyteller. I mean, he was 23 when he wrote regarding Henry. So, I mean, of course, it's not going... He doesn't have the level of life experience.
No, I think that's a fair thing. That's a fair...
you know,
I'm not saying that. Look, I like J.J. Abrams.
The thing about the Doctor is just, it's very adult. I mean, all the scenes with the female doctor who's like taking care of him, and she's so cold and efficient. They ring true. And then the highlight for me, the two highlights for me is the fight that he has with his wife when he can't talk.
Yeah.
Right.
It's an amazing piece of acting. You know, an actor not being able to talk and still communicate. And then the last...
They're both so good.
Yeah.
He and Christine Lottie are just so good in that movie.
And the last scene where he gets the note and he goes up to the roof is just a perfect ending to the story. And he just has...
It's a beautiful movie. And by the way, it's a summer movie. Can you imagine?
Yeah. That's one of the most extraordinary things about it is this kind of movie being released by a studio nowadays in the summer is unthinkable.
So the case of...
And by the way, this is a touchstone movie. This is a touchstone movie, like I mentioned at the very beginning of our conversation. But this is a good touchstone movie. This is what they should have been making with dramas.
They thought they had an Oscar movie, I think, at least for William Hurt, and it just didn't. It didn't turn out that way.
This movie would be released by Bleecker Street Bleecker Street, or one of the smaller companies that we see out there today, or.
Remember, like I said, it started off in limited and it rolled out. And it had probably some of the Along with Boys in the Hood probably had some of the best reviews of the summer. Well, the final week of July, is pretty much a dumping ground. We get Another You, Life Stinks, Mobsters, V.I. Warshawski, and Hot Shots. Now,
but Hot Shots is the best of all of those. I don't care what anyone says.
Hot Shots has some good stuff, and I actually like good chunks of Life Stinks. And,
me too.
And actually, V.I. Warshawski is not a bad showcase for Kathleen Turner, but that's all it is.
I saw that one in the theater, actually, and I saw that in the theater. And I was looking forward to it because I like Kathleen Turner a lot at the time. I've never read any of the Sarah Paretsky books, but it wasn't. From what I remember, it was not a bad movie. But it's just that Hot Shots is the one that sticks out the most. Whether that's because of Charlie Sheen's Tiger Blood or whatever, I don't know. But
and then, but Another You is just a sad movie to look at. If you
I can't watch it. I cannot watch that movie.
It's sad.
Who's in that?
That's Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor.
Oh yeah, that is sad. That's the last one, right? So
it was the last one, and Richard Pryor just looks. I mean, it looks very, very bad. So it's just kind of hard film.
I'd rather watch Moving with Richard Pryor than that again.
Life Stinks needs somebody to stick up for it because, amongst all of the Mel Brooks movies, I think that one really gets forgotten because it's not a spoof of a genre, which he had become known for at this point, and it's a story that stands on its own. It's not a truly original story in that it's about a rich guy that gets demoted into being a homeless person in order to win a bet So we've seen that story before.
The two things I'll say about it. One, it's a better version of a movie that comes out like 2 months later, 3 months later, The Super, with Joe Pesci. It's a much better version than that.
Much better.
And the other thing, it has a gag in there that it did first, beating The Big Lebowski by 7 years, involving the spreading of ashes.
Oh yes, that's right. I remember watching it and thinking, "Oh wow." Yeah, there's also a really great supporting performance by Leslie Ann Warren.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I mean,
I think she's really, really good at it as the homeless woman that Mel Brooks kind of teams up with.
Right.
And there's an unusual dance sequence in it, which every one of Mel Brooks' movies, has a musical sequence in it somewhere. So, just an underrated movie. I bet a lot of people who love Mel Brooks still have never watched it.
Remember, the movies that follow this are not great. I mean, they're spoof movies, as you said. Robin Hood, Men in Tights, like a lot of those movies.
Dracula
is horrible, just wretched. I mean, that's just that.
And then Mobsters is just a weird movie.
It's embarrassing.
It's an origin story, but it has no point of view. And then it's an overly complicated plot. Like I said, this was the year. I guess Christian Slater was on the rise, so he had this and the Robin Hood and I forget what else he had. And
he also had Cuffs.
Right, Cuffs. And when
Cuffs. I mean, and the answer is very easily. But
when Cuffs is your highlight.
He made one great movie after this, and that was True Romance a couple of years later. But I mean,
by that point it was too late.
It was too little, too late. But no, he was still doing okay. I guess Mr. Robot gave him his. Relevance.
I've always thought he's underrated as an actor. But I mean, Mobsters is just a weird, bad. It's just.
Well, I think Mobsters was made because Young Guns did well, so it's like put all these young, hot, up and coming actors in a kind of classic genre. It just didn't replicate Young Guns.
Most of the actors. I mean, if you look at them, you're like, who? Now you're like, Costas Mandylor, Rodney Eastman.
Well, I mean, you look at it, and it's like Boardwalk Empire did this so much better. Also, in hindsight, now that we have that too. I mean, Mobsters is so historically inaccurate.
I'd rather watch Bugsy Malone.
I'd rather watch. I would too. Dean, the end of Bugsy Malone is so good. Bugsy Malone is one of those movies that, I'm sorry, the end of that movie, I always made time for in elementary school. So,
Mobsters. I think we've zeroed in on it. Mobsters is missing the youth and sexual vigor of a Steve Buscemi.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, so the
or Jackie or Harley for that matter. But
the first weekend of August, things pick up a little bit. We get Slacker and Body Parts and Doc Hollywood,
and also Todd Haynes' Poison.
Oh, right, Poison.
Yeah, no, we get Poison. But let's be honest, Slacker is probably what we still talk about. Slacker.
Yeah.
And we talk about Poison also. Let's not beat around the bush. We do talk about Poison.
It's the debut of two major indie voices. I mean, both of those. So I mean, I guess Todd Haynes had become noteworthy for doing the Karen Carpenter story, which was a suppressed movie.
No, but that put him on the map, though. That movie put his name on the map. But as far as Linklater was concerned, Slacker, I mean, like I said, we still talk about Slacker today. On the show, we've talked about it many times. 9-year history. It's an important film. It's one of the, it gave the Village Voice a lot of it, a lot of reason to have a lot of pages at the time.
And in terms of negative legacy, the success of Slacker gave us the film career of Kevin Smith.
I would,
or
I
how
wouldn't
Harley.
say that in the 90s, but in the 2000s, and especially with what we've seen in the 21st century, yeah, you're absolutely right.
Is anyone going to the one night only Kevin Smith movie?
Which one is that? The Yoga Hosers or?
No, I don't even know. I gave up after Tusk. I wrote, I'm done.
Did you watch all of Tusk? Aaron, I've always wanted to ask
so you're done with Kevin Smith now?
I'm done. Well, if it comes on TV, maybe I'll look at it, but I'm not going to go out of my way anymore. I'm just not. I'm done.
Good for you.
But this is the one. This is the one with his daughter and Johnny Depp's daughter, right?
Yeah, Tusk had some moments. But very few and far between. But no, Tusk is
What
terrible.
moments? Enlighten me.
I actually did like Johnny Depp in Tusk. I thought he was kind of funny.
Okay, no, I didn't know it was him until the credits rolled, but okay.
I was grasping at straws. But
You're trying to find something to like in every movie.
That's why we love Aaron, because he's very positive.
No, but I want to talk about the film here. Slacker is great. I like Slacker a lot. I think, obviously, Dazed and Confused is his masterpiece.
Yes.
From 2 years later. But the film that I want to talk about, and I just talked about it with Jamie maybe a week ago, Doc Hollywood. And I think that's just a beautifully written rom-com. I saw that again a year ago or something.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some running gags in there that just, I don't know, they just never fail to not crack me up. The receptionist who keeps doing the time card every time the doctor comes in cracks me up. The way that the people come to Michael J. Fox so he can read their mail, and that's an on-running gag. And it's just it turns into this great eccentric rom-com. It's the best. It's like a Preston Sturges kind of film.
I agree.
I agree with you.
Good movie. It's a very good.
It's a really charming movie.
I don't have a problem with it.
I was thinking the other day, is Michael J. Fox a good actor? And what we think of as good actors, we obviously know he's aces at comedy. He's got great comedic timing, but I have a feeling he could do that in his sleep. So I started to kind of assess the rest of his career of whether or not he was a good actor. I think he was a good actor because he took chances. We don't think of Michael J. Fox taking chances, but he played a cocaine addict book editor in Bright Lights, Big City. He played an army infantryman in Vietnam opposite Sean Penn in Casualties of War. He played a Detroit rocker opposite Joan Jett in Light of Day. This is a guy that went outside of his comfort zone, and I don't think he's given enough credit for that.
No, it's true. It is very true.
Yeah.
He used his fame to leverage on of TV to leverage into doing interesting work and allowing his name to, I guess, get projects that wouldn't have gotten made otherwise. I think we didn't know that at the time, but one of the reasons Casualties of War got greenlit was okay, Michael J. Fox wants to be in it, or Bright Lights, Big City. Okay, Michael J. Fox wants to be in it. Okay, we can greenlight that. So he used his fame wisely.
And those are challenging movies.
Yeah.
Challenging movies, challenging directors, environments, uncomfortable positions to be put in. I wouldn't want to go to the Philippines with Sean Penn as my arch nemesis for 3 or 4 months.
TV actor.
And Brian De Palma.
TV actor, in your ear, no.
And Brian De Palma as the person giving you guidance. That's hell.
Yeah, and Schrader, and he's working with really challenging directors.
Yeah.
Anyway, next topic.
All right. Then the following week, this is where it really starts to get a little, doldrum. We get Delirious with John Candy. Bingo the Dog, Double Impact with Jean-Claude Van Damme, and Pure Luck with Danny Glover and Martin Short.
Ooh.
Can we
This is what I remember about Pure Luck.
We could just skip
This
all
is what I
four
remember
of
about
those.
Pure Luck. Pure Luck. Wasn't somebody killed on the set of Pure Luck?
I don't know.
Not me.
Yeah.
It was. It might have been the. It
might have been
the Joe Pesci Danny Glover movie.
Oh, that's Gone Fishing.
It's either Pure Luck or Gone Fishing. Yeah, I think it was Gone Fishing because a boat went out of control and it went into shore and hit a person and killed them. And I was like, God, to die on any movie set.
97 or 98. I mean, maybe Joe Pesci did something to them.
It's finally August 14th in limited release, and it goes wide. We get a good film, The Commitments.
That's a great movie. That's my choice. That's my choice next to another movie that's coming up. That's my choice for the best movie of the summer. Cause,
is the other movie Mystery Date, Dean?
No.
No, is it dead again?
No.
Okay, well, the Commitments is great. Alan Parker. Alan Parker is, runs hot and cold. I love Commitments, Shoot the Moon, and Mississippi Burning. Are probably my top three Alan Parkers. With Mississippi Burning, his masterpiece. But The Commitments.
I disagree with Mississippi Burning.
The Commitments is based on a great book. And it's such a good movie. I mean, I agree with you. It is one of the best movies of the summer. I mean,
to me, he comes alive when he deals with music. When Alan Parker has music at the core of his film, that's when you can just feel him.
Well, that's not true.
Enlivened. Because I feel that way.
If that were true, you would adore Evita. If that were true.
Unfortunately, I don't like that music. I've never been a huge fan of, but I do think that it's a well-made movie. I just don't like the music. But
you don't like the music of Evita? You don't even like the Patti LuPone version of the
song? The big song in it. That's all there is.
It breaks my heart. It really does. That Alan Parker's last film is The Life of David Gale. And that he hasn't done
that is sad.
Oh God! Oh my God!
And that he hasn't done anything.
If you think about Fame. I love Fame. I love I love the visuals in The Wall. I like of course I think Bugsy Malone is one of his greatest movies. And this is definitely in that. The Commitments is definitely in that realm. I think that his movies are just so kinetically edited. He's lucky to have been. He was working with the same editor for many years, Jerry Hambling, and in fact, the one Oscar nomination that The Commitments actually got, unfortunately, was for editing.
Jamie's favorite Alan Parker probably came out earlier, a couple of years earlier, with Angel Heart.
Whoa! What's wrong with Angel Heart?
No, I'm telling you.
Okay, Angel Heart's a great movie. Angel Heart's one of the greatest movies ever made.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, I love Evita. And I actually listen to the soundtrack a lot.
And Shoot the Moon actually has a good soundtrack. Great movie. With a good soundtrack.
Yeah. Shoot the Moon is also another one of his great movies as well. I agree with that. I've never been a fan of Mississippi Burning. I don't like those movies about the black experience that have white people in the center of it.
Like To Kill a Mockingbird and Glory and basically every movie about race.
Well, Glory is more of a black. Is a little bit more. Let's give it credit. There's a little bit more of a black presence in Glory. Maybe I'll give a pass to Kill a Mockingbird.
Gone with the Wind.
Gone with the Wind has more of a black presence than
Really? Do we really want to
one
come
of
to
his
me?
greatest since its best performances is one of its best performances comes from a black woman. So I think that counts.
Yeah, Mamby.
But I don't think that is a movie about the black experience anyway. So that's kind of a
just
false.
Slavery. It's
not about slavery though. It's got slavery as a background. It's not really a movie about slavery.
I could give you a really radical interpretation of Gone with the Wind, but I want the show to stay on the air for a couple more years, so I'm going to shut the fuck up.
And I don't even really look at To Kill a Mockingbird as a movie about the black experience, which I think the story, the Brock Peters story in that, takes a definite backseat to the tale of the children. That's what it's about. It's not about Brock Peters.
Well, what about Hell Up in Harlem?
Yeah.
Okay, what's the next movie?
Yeah.
Next movie
Thank you, Jamie.
is Dean's other favorite Mystery Date.
Yes.
Who is the girl in Mystery? I never saw Mystery. I know it's Ethan Hawke, but who is the girl? Anyone remember who the girl was?
I can't remember.
Who the girl and she winds up in a trunk or something at one point. But yeah, Mystery Date.
My kind of movie.
Yeah. More like your kind of date. Oh.
God damn you, DeVal.
Terry Polo. The great Terry Polo.
Okay.
I like Terry Polo's older sister.
Oh, okay. I know what Dean's other favorite
in this movie, she literally has Junk in the Trunk.
I know what Dean's other favorite movie is, and it's
the best movie of the year, I would say.
Oh, good Lord.
Yes.
What movie is that?
August 21st, Barton Fink.
The best movie of the year.
Oh, okay. No, come on, guys, he's absolutely. Come on. I mean, it's either this or dead again. I mean.
No,
you don't like Barton Fink. Tell me why.
I like Barton Fink. This is the thing. I like Barton Fink. I think it's a good movie. The production design is spectacular. Goodman is incredible in it. Some of the lines
is fantastic in it.
Some of the lines of dialogue are really great. Michael Lerner's a lot of fun. But it doesn't add up to anything. See, here's the thing. I don't consider myself a Coen head in that, every film is the best film since the last film.
I don't consider myself that either. But there was definitely a time where they were on a run.
Can I say something?
What?
Aaron, this film doesn't give you that Barton Fink feeling.
Frankly, I think Miller's Crossing from the year before is, if I have to pick one of the two, I think is the better film.
I can't
luckily we're not in a world where we have to pick. So I mean, they were doing great movies, just one great movie after another. I love Miller's Crossing, but to me, Barton Fink was the great movie of the year. It's a kind of a.
It doesn't add up to it doesn't add up to anything. It's punchline.
It's a movie about the head, living in your head.
That's very cerebral, and it's very anticlimactic.
Literally cerebral. I agree. It's an extremely cerebral movie.
I love this movie, but I understand where Aaron's coming from. But Aaron, don't you think it's better than The Lady Killers?
I mean, what do you want it to add up to?
You don't think it's better than The Lady Killers?
No,
That's absurd.
I think The Lady Killers is a terrific movie because
come on! Now you're just doing your thing where you stick up for the thing that everybody shits on.
Yeah, and I don't know why they dump on The Lady Killers, because The Lady Killers adheres to a plot and a structure.
Because it's a shitty version of a better movie. I hate movies that remind me of better movies.
Yeah, I never held the original in as reverence.
How can you not hold the original up to a higher? The original has got Alec Guinness in it, for crying out loud.
I love Alec Guinness.
Aaron, look, I agree with you on a lot of things, but here, if you said to me, Guys, can I just go to the bathroom and throw up now? I mean,
No,
I'm devastated now.
I don't begrudge. Look, I consider Manhunter one of the all-time greatest movies ever, and so they remade it as Red Dragon. Manhunter still exists. Red Dragon's a bad movie. You know, it's just the way it goes. I don't believe that they had no right to remake Manhunter. I don't believe Gus Van Sant didn't have a right to remake Psycho.
Right.
You know,
I don't mind people remaking things. I mean, that's
I don't mind.
people, you can give it a shot. You know, people can give it a shot.
To put it in perspective, they remade Ben-Hur, okay?
right. So
they remade Ben-Hur, and it was remade in '99. It was called The Phantom Menace, but now they're remaking it with the biblical version. Oh, gosh. I mean,
can
I go split my wrist now?
So it doesn't bother me that they remade it doesn't bother me that the Coen Brothers remade The Lady Killers. They did a fine. I thought they did a fine update. I didn't hold it in reverence. Just the same way, I didn't lose my lunch over like all the geeks did when they dared to touch Old Boy.
Oh yeah. I don't mind remakes. We're pretty okay with remakes on Movie Geeks United. I think we have generally the same opinion of them, which is they're like plays. Movies are like plays, and why shouldn't they be restaged occasionally? But some are better than others. Anyway, back to Barton Fink. Barton Fink, I mean, John Turturro, the incredible cast. It's the best looking movie of the year. It's the best written movie of the year. It's almost like a Rubik's Cube that you have to sit and sort of figure out. It's got a great score by Carter Burwell, just like all their movies did back then. There was a time where they were and they still are incredibly reliable.
I admit I need to see Hail Caesar. I know a lot of people thought it was kind of meh, which tells me that
I'm positive that you'll be sticking up for it.
Yeah.
It's not a bad movie. It's not the kid who's a young Han Solo in it. I mean, it's got the kid who's a young Han Solo, and he's actually in the funniest scene in the movie. I think you could agree with that, Dean.
But also it's worth noting that Barton Fink won the Palme d'Or, didn't it? It
was the only movie to win the Palme d'Or, Best Actor and Best Director in the same year. And it was the jury that was run by Roman Polanski. So that gives you kind of an idea of why.
Were there any young girls? Were there young girls in the jury?
No, Whoopi Goldberg was on that jury. And remember, Spike was mad that year because Jungle Fever didn't win anything.
Although it did win like a special supporting actor citation for Samuel Jackson.
They created an award for him, but Spike won it because he felt they were robbed in both 86 and particularly in 89 when Do the Right Thing, and he thought they were robbed again in 91. So and no film has ever won 3 awards at the festival before or since. As a really freak occurrence. Makes you kind of want to go back and go back and look at the list to see what else was in competition, because usually the unspoken rule is they try to spread it out.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder what else was in the competition. But yeah.
Okay, so is there 1 week left?
Yeah, there's 1 week left. Let's see. We got one of my favorite films of the year, actually, Dead Again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Defenseless.
Very good.
And I'm going to stick up for one here. Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man.
Well, Vanity Fair would agree with you, Dean. I mean, Aaron, that year, because they stuck up for it too. That big profile of Mickey Rourke that year. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, directed by Simon Windsor of Lonesome Dove fame. So it's not like it was made by a hack. It was not like it was one of those, obviously it's a film they dumped in the summer.
But it took place in the near future, 1996.
Right, 96, 97. It's a goofy Western. I'm not gonna go to the wall for it, but it's one of those. I don't think it's the worst movie ever made, and even Defenseless, with Barbara Hershey and Sam Shepard, has some moments that are kind of intriguing. But clearly, the film to beat there is Dead Again, which also made my top 10 that year, and that was a film that I knew nothing about, but me and my sister went only because we saw Branagh on the Letterman show, and he was very funny on the show, and selling the movie. And so, like, literally the next day or 2 days later, my parents were out of town. My sister's like, well, let's go to the movies, and so let's go see Dead Again. And we went, and it blew us away to the point that when my parents came back, we took them to it. So I saw it twice. That's probably my favorite score of the year. And there's
it's a good movie. It's a solid movie. And Andy Garcia is good in that too, by the way. I mean, he's very good.
Andy Garcia, Robin Williams, Derek Jacobi. I mean, yeah, it's just a fun, over the top
this
melodrama.
This was a period of time when Kenneth Branagh was a wonderkind, where you felt like he could do anything. And if you didn't feel like he could do anything, he certainly did.
No, it's a really solid movie. I mean, you have, the Commitments, Barton Fink, and Dead Again. You actually have a lot of really great art house, which would today definitely be art house movies. I mean,
The summer ends on a whimper with Beastmaster 2 and Child's Play 3.
Wow. Which the less said, the better.
Wait, there was a third Child's Play movie? No one told me this shit.
There's like 5 of them, isn't there? 5 or 6 of them now.
I think there's we actually a guy who was a big fan of the show, Will, swears by all of them. But, yeah.
And then a couple of films that we should mention that we didn't get to mention here. The big doc of that summer was Paris is Burning.
Oh yeah.
That was the big doc of that summer. Because remember, voguing was all the rage from the previous year because of Madonna's Vogue, and so the doc Paris is Burning became a big deal. And this was this was still the time when you were lucky if one doc broke out, and Paris is Burning turned out to be the doc to break out. And like Slacker is probably one of those forerunners of things to come, dealing with race and
right. No, you're absolutely right.
Race and gender. So that was like probably the big doc of that summer. So I think overall good summer.
I just have one thing to say about Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man, and then we'll close off. Since I've gotten into vinyl record collecting, specifically soundtracks, I have been shocked that one of the most in-demand vinyl soundtracks is for Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man. It routinely pulls in over $100 per LP, and I have no idea why. Is it some kind of
who's on
soundtrack?
It?
Is it a soundtrack or a score?
No, it's a soundtrack. I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
Could it be because of the cover or something like that?
I don't know.
Guys, we don't get Mickey Rourke and Don Johnson in the movie together that often. Let's celebrate. I mean, really, can't you guys celebrate the fact that Don Johnson and Mickey Rourke are in a movie together? I mean, Jesus Christ.
So it's got Bon Jovi, it's got Peter Frampton, Kentucky Headhunters, Copperhead, the Screaming Jets, Vanessa Williams. I guess she must be in the movie. And L.A. Guns.
You're killing me now.
L.A. Guns, Waylon Jennings, and Black Eyed Susan are on the soundtrack.
You want me to have a heart
Who wouldn't
attack
want that?
because I'm that old. You
Well,
want me to have a heart attack in 20 minutes.
Here's the deal. When you finally get your hands on a copy, you got to make us all a copy.
I will. I'm going to wait until I run into it at a thrift store or something.
Audio cassette. You got to send it to us on audio cassette.
Yes.
All right, guys. It's been a fun show as always. Thank you, my friend Aaron. Thank you, buddy, for joining us again.
Thank you, Aaron.
For still being with us.
Yes.
Thank you, Aaron. Aaron, I'm going to be having a screening of Barton Fink, and I want you to come to talk about the movie.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
With a double feature of that, and Tusk.
Okay.